told you I found you a perfect match. Chosen by science, but you had to marry them right this second. You would tell me, well, that sounds pretty whack. And I would add, you have 8 weeks to know if you really love them. You just got married at first sight. Jason and Aysha gonna tell you wrong from right. Are all these couples just disasters waiting to happen? Imagine if one of them could be a perfect match.
Welcome to A Perfect Match. We made it, y'all. We made it. We are here. Sorry, I said I was going to get emotional. We are here to talk about the last episode of the season of Married at First Sight, season 16, the Where Are They Now special. Oh, I never thought I'd say those words. I am one of your hosts, Jason Reed. With me is my other co-host, who I've been told she's going to be in and out of this podcast, depending on her work schedule. She may have to come and go at different times. Aysha Welch. Aysha, how are you and how blessed do you feel to finally be here at the finish line? We had to limp over, but we are here.
We are here. We made it. We thought we wouldn't, but
We never thought we'd get here.
Never thought we would make it, but I received some really good news right before this podcast. So my neighbor's brother-in-law's cousin, his dog started puberty.
Oh my. Yes. Yes. The update we've been all waiting for. Finally.
Oh yeah.
The levels of excitement that this Where They Now special brought us to.
Yes, you guys. These are the kind of updates we were getting. I kid you not.
Boy, you want to talk about the most worthless, just waste of film. There are other TV shows out there that could use that film, y'all. Like,
Right.
what?
Y'all are wasting your resources.
What are y'all doing? There were other families that wanted to use that Airbnb that for that stretch of 3 days.
3 days that had to be during the week.
Like, yes, everybody had to go to work.
Everybody got to go to work. Why are we filming this on a Monday to Thursday? It felt like I'm so confused.
What in the world, man? This was.
It wasn't until like the last night they had all 10 people at the place. It was just, and that was like after the third course. Finally, all 10 people are here.
We knew it was going to be garbage, right? We knew. We've been new.
We've been new. But I had an ounce of hope. Like maybe this might be interesting. Like the kind of hope I had for the Cast Tell All, where I was thinking like, okay, probably won't watch until we saw that preview. I was like, okay, I might watch. But then with this, I was like, okay, for them to feel like we have to do a Where Are They Now? It's a must. It's mandatory. There has to be a Where Are They Now after all of these little in-between episodes after Decision Day. I was like, oh, there must be something to show. Like, there has to be a development.
You would be wrong. And then the nerve, the unmitigated gall to keep this at 2 hours. 2 hours? 2 full hours. 2 hours, y'all. This could have been 5 minutes.
Absolutely. It was somebody in the Facebook group said it could have been an Instagram reel.
Yeah.
And I 100% agree.
Totally. And just the promises that were made at the second part of the reunion, not even fulfilled. Mac and Gina gonna go on a date. Didn't happen.
Haven't talked since the reunion.
Nope. Kirsten and Shaq gonna go on it. All this build up for Kirsten and Shaq. They had dessert after everybody left. The dinner they were all at. How dare you, Married at First Sight? How dare you present this to us like a cat bringing us a dead bird? Like, here, we got this for you.
Right, oh. Enjoy it for 2 hours.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really needed this.
Honestly, when we hit 1 hour in, I put in the Facebook group, Ain't no way this has another hour. And it
There,
did.
there literally can't be anything else to talk about. And in a certain sense, we were right.
They ran out of topics. It's like when you, I don't even know if it's like this, but
Oh, here
it's
we
like
go. Here we go. I'm ready. Come on, hit me with
it's
it.
when you meet a new person, right? And you run out of the small talk. Like, let's say you're at a party, you meet a new person, you've run out of the what do you do, blah, blah, blah. And then you just kind of like, all right, now's my time to figure out like an exit strategy. Like, there's nothing else to say. Like, oh, I'm gonna go get a drink. Like,
I
or
mean,
see my friend.
and speaking of small talk, this was filled with small talk that we just should be on the cutting room floor. Like, it's just that they're just standing around, like, yeah, weather's pretty nice today. Yeah, it's pretty a little cloudy out. There was just nothing. They talked about nothing for a good hour and 45 minutes of this 2 hours.
Oh yeah, for
They
sure.
sat around and talked about nothing. There's a segment where Kirsten is like so mad at the boys for leaving their luggage all over the place. Like, why did we need to see that? Why are you wasting my time?
They were like, you know what? Let's imagine this. They shot this and they were like, let's put the necessary footage. Crap, we're at 20 minutes.
Ooh.
What do we need to do?
I don't know. Just put in the fillers. Like, if I want to pump this thing full of filler, it's like, I don't know what to do, guys. We just don't have anything interesting. Like, we'll make it work. That's what we do.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was honestly Jason and I were talking about this before, y'all. Honestly, of all, let's scale it down to just all of Married at First Sight. It felt like the most pointless episode of Married at First Sight of all time.
Yes. Just the most unnecessary, just not worth a bit of my time, not worth an ounce of thing in Married at First Sight, and I would dare say of television history. Like, didn't need it.
Someone could have posted some text on Threads. Have you joined Threads yet?
I haven't. Do you have an invite for me?
You don't need an invite.
I don't need an invite? Okay, I thought it was an invite thing.
You need invites for Spill.
Okay, send one
but
of those.
Threads is the new
Instagram
equivalent for Instagram. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You just need an Instagram account.
Yeah. I'm late to all these fads, so I'll probably wait.
But you literally, this episode could have been text on Threads to say, this is the update for the couples. I would have hearted it.
Yeah, for sure. Because this was
thank you.
This was the most unnecessary thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But we're here.
Yeah, we're here
to talk
about the Where Are They Now special. If you've seen that in the title.
So many people in the Facebook group are like, no thanks, I'll listen to the podcast.
Yeah, I bust out laughing when someone said that they have not watched an episode of Married at First Sight since the New Orleans season, but they listen to our podcast.
Well, listen, we appreciate it so much that y'all are still here with us.
Yes.
Whether you watch the show or not. We do this for y'all. We are doing this for you. Like, you don't know how much I had to drag Aysha into this StreamYard to get her to cover this show this week.
We literally were talking about everything, but we're like, okay, we need to go ahead and start recording. Yeah. Oh my goodness. But yes, make sure if you are here and you have stuck it out the season with us, we really appreciate it. Make sure you haven't yet, go subscribe to our Love at First Sight feed, because, when we come back for season 17, you'll already be subscribed, and then you'll be able to be with us from the beginning, and you won't have any catching up to do. Who
knows what updates we'll get until the next season, right? I mean, Kirsten and Shaq could have more spark.
Will they? Won't they?
Unbelievable how they still at the very end were even still trying to lie to our face and tell us there's a possibility. Like, are we going to get some other episode before the season 16 where Shaq and Kirsten's go on another day? I don't know, but who knows what updates we'll get. I mean, there have been some updates in the MAFS world even since last week. Jamie and Beth officially divorced now. Well, he filed for divorce officially. Jamie did. Also, we got some sort of little confirmation
No, not even little. It's
it was
hardcore confirmation.
Yeah, Miles and Karen, they all the like kind of a lot of Black cast members were at Essence Fest in New Orleans over the past weekend. Seen there were Eris, Shaq, Brianna and Vinny from Houston.
No, Brianna and Vinny were Atlanta with Chris and Paige.
Yep, Miles and Karen were both in New Orleans. From the New Orleans season, so that makes sense. And Woody and Amani were also there at the Essence Fest. I think they all did some panels or something. I think Eric and Shaq were just hanging out weirdly with Chris's brother. I don't know why, but Chris's brother was there too.
Right.
And during one of the panels that Miles was speaking at, confirmed that he and Karen are separated. So not technically divorced, but separated, which answers a age long question that we've all had about whether Miles and Karen are divorced. I mean, RIP to those out there that were still holding out hope,
right?
that Miles and Karen were still together. We saw so much evidence to the contrary, like, oh, they're not wearing their rings. People are like, married people don't wear their rings all the time. Like, oh, Miles is caught up with some girl. You don't even know. That might be his sister. It's like, damn, what's got to happen? Like, Miles has a sex tape. Y'all know that's him. He didn't hold his ID. We don't know that's for real him. Okay, but yeah, so that seems to be confirmed. I mean, just the MAFS rate is just taking hit after hit after hit recently.
Yeah, I mean, she was there, and I wonder what kind of terms they're on. Like, did she go to his panel?
Yeah, interesting to know. So, yeah, we got that news out of the way. We got that confirmed for us.
Right. Yeah, so that was exciting, at least to see them. I love always getting content of Woody and Amani. They're probably my favorite couple of all time. So yeah, also make sure y'all go subscribe to the Facebook group. We are definitely going to have some off-season coverage. Or no, we're not. We're not gonna have we're gonna have some off-season conversations.
Conversations.
Off-season conversations in the Facebook group. So make sure you go subscribe. You can look it up at A Perfect Match Podcast. This week, the password is
yellowfin tuna. One of Chef Clint's creations for the couple's dinner.
Exactly. Yep. So go join. You put in the password. We'll invite you in, or we'll accept you in, and then you get to just be a part of the conversation. As we get more news about season 17, you'll see it there. Because we're not going to be back until season 17 is back. So if you want to know any news about the podcast, go join the Facebook group. We have a great time in there.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the most eventful.
Well, we had one review that I want to go over. It is a Canadian review.
From Canada.
The only one left in our mailbag. Y'all got lucky. Y'all made it to the very last episode. I didn't have to sing any Black Eyed Peas. We had that one review left in our mailbag. You were spared. Thank the Canadians out there. It is from Victoria Bedard. It's from Unremarkable Being, entitled Bring Back the Negging. Jason and Aysha's brother-sister-like banter is what we're here for. Don't let one person's opinion change you. Jason, please take 2 minutes next episode to neg Aysha about puppy birthday parties. Your loyal listeners want to hear it. That was from a few weeks ago, but I think I've done. I'm back to my old negging ways. Don't you think, Aysha?
Right. I agree. I agree.
Happy to be back to my negging.
You aren't holding back by any means.
No, not at all. Let's jump in. Let's jump into this fantastic episode that we got. We did confirm this is 5 months after decision day.
Yeah. So I appreciate that time jump. You would think with a time jump we would have some more developments, but
I mean, is there a time jump? How far was this from the reunion?
I don't think the reunion was 5 months after decision day.
Or was it like 4 months?
Because remember, we kept getting all the updates, countdown to decision day, or like with the in-between episodes, 19 days after Nashville, or after decision day. So that was like a month.
Right. But when was the reunion in this time period?
I doubt it was that long.
Okay. Well, let's say this is a month after.
You were thinking it was closer?
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was kind of typical of Married at First Sight. This was like the weekend after the reunion.
Oh, I didn't even think it was that close, but I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Yeah, but they make us think that there has been some time that's been in between the reunion and this retreat. We do get the montage people on the way to the retreat, everyone doing the little diary cams. Kirsten and Jasmine arrive first. We get the backstory, right? Kirsten is taking responsibility for this. She's saying, "Listen, I called everyone here because we're going to celebrate Shaq and Eris's birthdays. When do you think Shaq and Eris's birthdays actually are in relation to this week? Is it like in a month? Like the closest person's birthday?
Maybe this quarter.
Yeah." Like, whose birthday is the closest? Shaq and Eris like, well,
Right.
our birthdays are like 3 weeks away. Close enough. We'll say it's for your birthday.
They're like, is your birthday this year? Okay, perfect.
Yeah. We find out that what's going to keep being a theme in this episode, the boys and the girls are going to be separated in their living quarters. This whole episode was just boys meeting, girls meeting, boys meeting, girls meeting, which was an interesting way to go about this. Not even like,
yeah, because it's not like they don't cross over who hangs out. Like it seems like, Clint hangs out with Nicole, and so like they mix and mingle, but they try to, like, the guys are close and the girls are close.
Yeah, exactly. Gina and Nicole the next to arrive. And then everyone comes in. There's just like this weird banter in the air. There's nothing of note. It's just like, oh yeah, this is a nice place, right? Like, yeah, it is. And there's like, it's just small talk conversation. Like, why is this recorded? Why is it on my TV screen right now?
Yeah. It reminds me of this. So I recently, I'm gonna go ahead and put this out in the atmosphere. I'd only told like close friends, but I recently have been binging Raven's Home.
Are you for real?
I am. So I love That's So Raven, right?
Yeah, we know, we've heard.
So when Raven's Home came out, I was watching it and I was up to date until like I stopped watching. I fell off. So recently I binged the last 2 seasons that have been on, and they did an episode where they were trying to do like a reality show of Raven's life at home, but she couldn't get it together. But it was like pointless stuff that they decided to scrap it because they couldn't make an episode. And I'm like, that's what this should have been.
Yeah, for real. I mean, we've had this conversation recently, but how, for you as a 30-something, how is the entertainment value for Raven's Home?
It's very predictable.
Of course.
Because it's like
a child show.
Right. Yeah, like she's always going to misinterpret her visions.
Yes.
She's always going to make the wrong decision, and it's carried over to her son because he's also a psychic. And so he also misinterprets his vision. He also makes bad decisions. So it's just like, but they're 20-minute episodes. It's easy watch.
You know, the explanation of Raven's Home right there? That was way more entertaining than anything that was where they now special.
Yeah, at least we have psychics.
Yeah. The 4 ladies that have shown up so far go to sit out on a swing. We get explained that Dom and Chris, they're both on their way from work. There was this interesting thought. It was like, yeah, Chris is like, yeah, I bought some seasoning because Clint's cooking, and Jazz was like, yeah, because I'm gonna need some Lowry's and Old Bay, not what Clint brings, it's just salt and pepper. I thought that was a fun little dig at Clint.
No, yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, Dom finally arrives, and they all sit on the swing. We asked Dom, okay, Dom, how are things going for you? You got a new big job, right? Dom's like, yeah, I got a new job. I'm whipping a Big Daddy truck. It's like, okay, what does that mean exactly? And then they asked,
I think she said that's what she named her truck, was Big Daddy.
But what does that have to do with her job?
No, she said she got a new job. She has a truck that she, maybe a new truck that she calls Big Daddy.
But later, at the end of the episode, she gets in this truck to go home that is like blurred out. I think that's a company truck that she came here in.
Oh.
She explains.
She says she's working. She's a regional sales. Oh, okay. If she's a regional sales executive at a commercial painting company, she does probably have to go around and market the.
Okay, so yeah, that's probably what it is. She's a regional sales exec for a commercial painting company. They ask her about her new man. She says her new man is 25, a year younger than she is. So that's something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they talk about how they haven't seen her since the reunion. So, however much time that has been. In a confessional, Jasmine says, she would be so shocked if there was any sort of drama this weekend. I said,
Maybe
yeah,
it's been like a month since the reunion then, because
could be.
that would be weird if they hadn't. I mean, I know she does her little thing later about saying it, but uh, I would think that's very odd that she hasn't seen them since the reunion. If
Yeah.
it was like
And
5 months ago.
it sounds like the other 4 have seen each other and they just haven't seen Dom, which is
Yeah.
interesting and would
Mm-hmm.
lay credence to what she says later.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, Jasmine says she would be shocked if there was some drama this weekend. I said, yeah, we would be shocked also. That's part of the problem with this season. There's
Right.
no drama.
Everybody just gets along. There's no conflict.
Yep. Within this little group hang, we find out that Kirsten has arranged a sound bath for them. I said, "Oh, the sound! We finally got a sound bath in the season. It's a staple of Married at First Sight nowadays to have a sound bath in your season."
Yes.
They meet up with their meditation coach, whose name is Casey. I did put in parentheses in my notes. Watch out, Gina. She is a ginger. You're not going to get along. She's fiery red hair.
Mm-hmm.
They do the sound bath. Absolutely nothing of interest happens here.
They tried to include us as part of it by showing the trees, showing all these different vivid images so that we could also have a sound bath, but it didn't work for me.
Not at all.
How about you? Were you pretty were you zen?
No, I was still mad that this is happening.
Yeah.
After the sound bath, Kirsten talks to the ladies. She says, yeah, we got so much stuff planned. We got the birthdays, and we got Vegas night. We're doing the casino thing. And Kirsten says, I got this dress, and Shaq's gonna want me back after he sees me in this dress. I said, oh, Kirsten, why would you? Why? Just why?
And I think that's where they are. I mean, we definitely will get into it later, but I think there's no actual reality of them getting back together. So it's like the best they can do is joke about it.
I mean, but like it's I don't know. It was a joke, but it was like, don't joke like that, Kirsten. Please.
I know.
They talk about what their expectations are for the weekend. Dom says, listen, I'm here. I'm just here. That's just my expectation. I'm just here. That's all it's going to be. We get a production asking her how it's going to be seeing Max. She says, I don't really care. Like, can you really call my ex? We were only married for 12 days. It's not even that big.
That's strong.
Yeah, that's a strong word, like ex. They head back inside. Jasmine mentions, as they're going back inside, yeah, I'm going to have to spend some nights away due to work. And, I'll come back. It really depends on how I'm feeling after work, whether I come back that night or not. I don't think Jazz is really feeling any of this throughout this whole episode. And she disappears many times throughout the episode.
Which I'm kind of confused. Like, okay, if this is your last obligation, like I get her feeling about it. Like, I'm over this experience, right? But if the show cared to have them there, wouldn't they pick a retreat location that's far enough that they all have to road trip there, be there for the weekend, and so everybody has to be there, but they are close enough where everybody can just go into work, I'll be back,
going back and forth. It's
right.
not like the where was that with Zach and Michaela?
Houston.
Where it was like
they went like an hour. It was like an hour and a half outside of Houston.
It was like in the boonies, and they were like, Zach, don't go out there, man. You're not gonna make it. He's like, I'm gonna be fine.
For multiple reasons, though.
Well, yeah, we're not gonna talk about that
though.
So Clint is the first man to arrive. He, of course, comes in kind of cringe dad dancing, as Clint will do,
as he does.
He says in confessional he's looking forward to catching up with everyone, especially Mac and Shaq, because they've both kind of moved away. So he wants to see what they're up to. I'm sure because the producers told him to say this, he's like, yeah, and I'm curious about what Mac has to say about Dom and how Mac is doing dating Gina. Like, yeah, we all know that's not right.
As if they don't already know.
Yeah. We also find out that Nicole has become Gina's marketing executive, which I was like, oh, that's
I thought
interesting.
that was a joke, but then I kept seeing more and more people talking about it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, of course Gina would,
Yeah,
Or
because
oh wow,
she
Gina
has to mention the
hired.
salon. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think this is like, because Nicole was showing her like a website or something. She was like talking about building her website. So I think what is actually happening, I think, as Nicole kind of explained, she's like, yeah, we kind of barter services. I work for
Mhm.
Gina and I get free hair. So it really works out
Mhm.
better for me. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, so I guess she helps you with the website. You get free extensions or free hairstyling. I don't know.
Yeah.
Shaq arrives, hugs everyone. He says in a confessional that seeing Kirsten is really giving him butterflies. And he talks about how she's always so beautiful. And he says, who knows what the future may hold for us. They ask him, so Shaq, what's going on with you? He says, I'm the vice president of marketing for my new university. And by the end of the summer, I'm
Which is Houston
finally.
Tillotson University, just so people. When I was in college, we did a lot with HT, like with their AKAs. They were so close that we were like, we did community service together. We like hung out sometimes. It was like it's literally just on the other side of 35 from UT. What?
I'm sure only the people in Texas will understand what the heck you just said.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's on the other side of 35. Okay, yeah.
Right.
We all know what that is.
Okay, imagine a highway. It was on the other side of a highway.
Okay, wait. I knew what 35 was. It was just so specific. It's in Texas. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says he's finally going to be done with school by the end of the summer. He's finally going to be Dr. Dillon. In the middle of this, Dom just breaks in. He's like, guess what, guys? Another update. Bo, her dog, has reached puberty. What? Why? Why would you say that? Why would anyone care? She talks about how he likes to hump the stuffed bear in the closet. I was like, what? Why is this in this? Why? And it's like moments in this episode. I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing?
Right. What does it come to?
Why am I watching this?
Right.
Like, do it for the listeners. Do it for the listeners. What you got? So I gotta keep saying.
Push it through.
Yeah, exactly. Clint says, well, how's everyone's dating lives going? They make him go first since he's the one who brought it up. He does reveal that he's dating someone. Nicole has met her, and Nicole approves. Nicole is doing her best like spin zone job here with like multiple times. She's not that anyone needs my approval. I'm not trying to be super nosy like people say that I am. But she has met her and she does approve. He even has a picture framed in his apartment of Clint and this mystery woman. Mm-hmm. And we find out they have dropped the L word to each other. I was like, wow, this is
right.
This is 5 months. I mean, hey, it happens.
Which means it's less than 5 months because unless they were dating before decision day.
Yeah, because
you have to have time to meet her and start dating.
I would assume this is the same person he was talking about at the reunion that he was dating.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, the same person that he was dating when he was talking about, oh, who knows, me and Gina, who knows?
Yeah.
Shaq, and the questions that we had in this episode revolved around Shaq and Kirsten and Gina and Mac, right? Mm-hmm. And then here they just ruin all the suspense. There's like Shaq's like, yeah, I've been dating. It's like, oh, so you and Kirsten are definitely not a thing at this point.
Exactly.
He says, yeah, I've been dating here and there, but nothing official, no one's serious. But I'm not in the streets like Eris is. Gina also just spoiling all of the reveals says, yeah, I've been dating someone that I've known for over 10 years and we are actually exclusive.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So not Mac.
Yeah, no, definitely not Mac.
Right.
You've known him like less than 10 months.
She's like, actually, I have known Mac 10 years.
Yeah, me and Mac go way back. They didn't tell you all that in the season. Chris finally arrives from work. There's some marriage banter between him and Nicole. It was very boring and unnecessary. Shaq, Chris, and Clint go to play some pool. While they're playing pool, Shaq talks about, yeah, it's so wild that I get recognized everywhere now as Shaq from Married at First Sight. I said, oh, do you really though? Do you really? I don't know. Shaq talks about, yeah, I don't think I could have done this with any other group of guys but you guys. He also says he's learned not to be too much of a workaholic and just kind of enjoy life. A little late, I think. You probably should have done that while you were married to Kirsten. Maybe you spent some of that quality time that she was looking for.
I was like, duh, that was her issue all along. Now, all of a sudden, you realize you don't have to be married to work. That was the problem. He was married to work, so he couldn't be married to her. Exactly. And now, I don't have work's always going to be there. I learned
Yeah,
that.
I'm gonna leave my laptop at work. Okay. Chris is talking about, yeah, married life is great. No big arguments. We're doing really well. Eris finally arrives. We get more Shaq talk about, how after doing MAFS, he can do anything now. He's done MAFS. Like MAFS is nothing, all this other stuff's nothing compared to being married at first sight.
Yeah, they're invincible now.
Yeah, I can go run with the bulls. I can skydive. I'll be fine. Okay, doesn't make sense, but all right. Chris starts talking about how, well, you and Kirsten are getting along so well now. After reunion, you guys are finally on the same page and listening to each other. What reunion was Chris watching? It must not have been the same one I was, because that is not what happened at all.
He must have their debrief after the reunion that everybody went to dinner.
Maybe.
Like,
yeah, that's what he's talking about. Eris and Clint come back in because they were out with the ladies talking, and they come back in to join the other guys. They ask how Eris is doing. Eris is like, I'm doing great. Not a lot of content from Eris in this whole show.
Eris said very little, and we usually get the funny confessionals from him, but even that was like,
he was super serious in his confessional.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Chris jokes is like, yeah, you can dance to any dance instructor now. Like, okay, Chris, very funny. Chris was the jokester this episode. We get another update from Chris. Says, yeah, me and Nicole, we want to travel and kind of enjoy each other before kids enter the picture. Hey, we got the update. No one had to kind of control it out of him. He just kind of said it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
No coming after anyone over here. All right. Mac, last one to arrive, finally arrives, gives hugs all around. All the guys go outside to join Clint at the grill where Clint is cooking up the meats. They all talk, and Eris, Eris says, Mac, this is your first time around both Gina and Dom. That's her name.
I thought he was trying to say Clint, because even Mac guessed Clint.
Like, no, the other one, the one you were married to, that one.
Ridiculous.
Could not remember Dom's name. Like, oh yeah, Dom, that's her.
Maybe Eris really has been disconnected from all of this since it's been over,
or he just hasn't spent any time with Dom. Like, he doesn't know who Dom is. I mean, he couldn't even remember any of the wives' names the second day on the honeymoon. Remember that?
Right.
When they were, it's like you couldn't remember anybody's names.
Yeah.
The girls all talk about, how is it seeing all your ex-husbands again? They asked Dom. Dom says, yeah, me and Mac have spoken, quite a bit actually since we got divorced. We talk about a lot of stuff dealing with divorce. And we get the flip side of this conversation. Mac is talking with the guys, and he's saying, yeah, she's been talking to me about all the, the mean messages she's been getting. She's like, and yeah, I kind of lied and said, yeah, I've been getting them too. But Mac's like, yeah, I haven't gotten a single bad message since the show. But
which is interesting because I'm like, I get that at the point of they're maybe not after the breakup, which also makes me wonder what part of the season are they in at this point. Because we know that the season is airing while they're at this retreat.
I think it's gotta be pretty early in the
season.
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm like, even after their breakup, I could see people having opinions about both. Even having negative opinions about both.
Oh, listen, I could. There's a lot of commentary to be talked about who gets mean messages dealing with these shows and who doesn't. But we'll leave that where it is. But yeah, Max says, yeah, I haven't gotten a single mean message yet.
Jason, I don't know what you mean. Can you elaborate? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But would Mac get any bad messages? I feel like Mac is just so nothing that I don't know if he would get any bad messages.
Yeah, people don't care enough to go look him up.
Yeah, exactly. He's.
I can honestly say I've never seen his Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. Eris talks about, yeah, he hasn't really been dating much. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna have Mac help me filter through my DMs. And Mac takes this opportunity to talk more about his DMs. So he's talking about, yeah, I've gotten these DMs from these women about some woman asking me if I have their drink because she dropped it when she saw me. I was like,
and then he was waiting for a reaction. He's like, this is a good one, right? That was creative.
No.
Because the way that he said it was, she said, hey, you owe me a drink. because I dropped mine when I saw you.
And then Shaq didn't understand. Shaq was like, "Did you cash app her?" And Mac's like, "What? No. Why would I cash app her? I would have her cash app me." Like,
right.
All right, it's Shaq. Poor Shaq. Next, Kirsten's going to tell
Shaq's like, "Wait, where were y'all at?
Yeah. What kind of drink was it? Was it an expensive drink?
Did it spill on her clothes?
Did you have to pay for a dry cleaning?
Were you clothes? Did it get on your shoes?
Who cleaned it up? Did you clean it up for her? Did you get a towel and clean it up? I'm not understanding.
That didn't hit like Mac thought it would.
No, not at all. Not at all. He thought that was such a flex. Everyone's just like, okay, interesting. Back inside, Kirsten is telling the other girls about, me and Shaq went on a date. Not really. It was just me. I think it was Shaq and Kirsten and Clint and Mac were all having dinner. Clint and Mac left, and then Kirsten and Shaq had dessert. That was their big date.
Yes.
And she says, he never tried to pursue me after the reunion. And if he really wanted to be to get back together, I think he would have tried to pursue me. So I think that's it. And Nicole makes a joke with Dom. She's like, "Well, Dom, you like they make a joke about all drinking from the same cup or something." And Nicole's like, "Well, Dom, you have been out with half of the people here." I was like, "Damn." That was cold. Dom says, "No, I haven't." And they're like, "Well, you made out with Clint. You met with Mac." Dom says that pool kissing at the honeymoon does not count as a makeout. I thought it was a little funny. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good one by Nicole.
Yeah, I mean, that it was a nice little burn. It was. I think it was nice if they were closer.
Yeah.
What if like Dom got like low key offended?
Just storms out of the room.
Right. I can't with Nicole.
Montre. You better get Nicole in my face.
Nicole always goes too far, man. This happens every time.
She's always making her little jokes. Saying her little jokes. Gina.
That's what we wish would happen.
Yeah, I mean that
like
would be interesting. That would give me some stakes. That would give me some drama, some entertainment.
Oh my goodness.
But no, we're all just friends, like razzing each other, and this is supposed to be our entertainment. I'm like, no, come on, man. Come on.
Yeah.
These are the jokes, folks. Like in a normal season, I wouldn't even bring that joke up. It was so nothing, but we got to fill the content like Married at First Sight. We need content. Yeah. Gina delivers food outside the clinic to grill up, and they tell her to take a seat.
The part where Nicole said that to Kirsten that her and Shaq are the only ones who haven't found a serious relationship yet. Did you say that part?
True. Yeah,
it's
I said that.
It's not true.
At all.
Eris is literally dating no one.
Mac has not been dating anyone.
Yeah.
So what is she even talking about?
It's like, how are you putting that on? Maybe she meant like in one side of the relationship. Like they're the only one where both of them aren't in a relationship, so they could get back together. She's
just grasping at straws. Like, neither one of y'all are dating, so you can still get back together.
Don't you not want to be single?
Yeah. Gina has a quick sit down with the rest of the guys outside. They bring up Clint's new love interest. They say, "Well, Gina, you got a new boo as well." And Gina, of course, says, "Yeah, he big-headed me." I said, "Oh my gosh, not the big head again, please no." They say, "Well," she says, "Yeah, and then she messes up. She says, "Yeah, he big dicked me. Oh, I mean, big-headed me." Did you catch that at all?
I didn't. I thought she said big head, and that was how Eris couldn't stop laughing because he thought it was the funniest thing on earth.
No, because she said
I didn't catch the first one.
She said big D instead of head. And they're like, "Oh, like we didn't ask all that." Oh, that was pretty funny. But that was like, there's these like little things, and then just they end. Like Gina just leaves. Like,
yeah. Oh, that's it.
Yeah, she just leaves. It's dinner time. They all have plenty of food. There's plenty of seasoning because Kirsten had to bring the seasoning. I wonder if she got the seasoning that that guy took with him. What was it? Olivia and Brett, when Brett took all the seasoning out of the house.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, who was it? Oh, it was Rudy that gifted Clint some seasonings. I
Oh
wonder if
yes,
he ever used them.
because Clint never put seasoning on things. um Shaq leads the blessing of the meal. I just found this funny because Shaq, everyone grabs hands and Mac is like, what are we doing? Mac has never attended a blessing of the meal. He's like, why are we holding hands? Like he was so shocked about they were doing this. This is the point where I realized that Jasmine was not here anymore. Like, where did Jasmine go? It wasn't ever announced that she was leaving. She said earlier in the episode, like, yeah, I'll have to, go to work and I might not come back. But she was just gone. There's no scene of her leaving. And as the episode goes on, I noticed that Jasmine and Eris are like kind of flip flopping the times they're there. I just really wondered, was this a like on purpose thing? Did Jasmine not want to be around Eris? Does she want to avoid him?
Yeah, you peeped that, and I didn't. But then now looking back, it felt like, yeah, they didn't have as much interactions as some of the other couples. Like even Clint and Gina had more interactions than Jasmine and Eris, and you would have thought that Jasmine and Eris were on great terms, just like Clint and Gina.
Yeah, it just seemed like every time Jasmine was there, Eris wasn't there. Every time Eris was there, Jasmine wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I was going through the whole episode up until basically the very end, I think. So they sit down for their meal. Kirsten, thanks everyone for being there. Glad they're able to reunite and taco about it because they're having tacos and they're talking about it. Very smart. Very smart.
Funny.
Nicole, of course, is the one to initiate the group conversation. And the conversation all the conversation is spanning on how cruel people are online. Nicole starts saying, yeah, people talk about me because I'm not a size 0. She's like, people talk about things like eyebrows, teeth. I was like, oh, okay, y'all are mad. So the whole room basically goes around, talks about how mad people are. Clint's like, yeah, I got a little heat at first, but I was really upset about how much tormenting Gina got. Gina talks about how, yeah, people were sending like hate messages through my business emails, leaving reviews on my business website. It's been a thing. And she says it's easy to talk a big game on the internet, but only good things in person when she's running into people that know who she is. Shaq's like, oh yeah, I've had to defend Kirsten online several times. You're not gonna talk about my wife like that. And he talks about how he had to defend the rest of the cast. This whole segment was like all the drama they were previewing in the last episode, at the end of last episode, like, oh, there's going to be drama, which we knew there's nothing.
It's them versus the fans.
Yeah, they're all talking about the internet trolls. That was all of the hubbub from the preview last week.
Yeah, and it's it brings me back to who asked for this, because it's like we want y'all to see the effect that the airing of the show has on the cast. So now the timing worked out to where we're filming where they now when the show has already started airing. The people who are sending those things aren't even watching this episode.
I mean, I think probably some people are watching just to hate watch. Hurtful internet comments in general are just inappropriate and just the worst people do them. So I think something I like about our Facebook group is that we don't get a lot of that. So I like that a lot.
Specifically in our Facebook group. That's very true.
Other
there
Facebook
other
groups,
shows.
Other Facebook groups from Married at First Sight that I've been in they're wild.
Oh, really?
Wild.
Oh, that's
I'm gonna have to send you some screenshots of some of these wild posts I see. It's crazy.
That makes me curious. I feel like our Facebook group is a reflection of the temperament of our podcast, which is nice. Totally. But yeah, we can't say the same for all of the other shows that we talk about. They're definitely, I get it. Like what these people are saying, we've gotten an ounce of it in recaps and coverage of other shows before.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I handle it a little bit. I'm more so. I understand it's a larger scale. Y'all are on Lifetime, but I'm more so. I'm not gonna.
I mean, it's like RHAP and then like Lifetime. Like the gap's not that big. Like let's be honest. Lifetime has literally like one show.
Yeah,
a bunch of movies. The gap's not that big. Let's be honest.
True.
But I mean, it's gonna happen whenever you're public facing. So
exactly.
let them vent. Okay, let them vent for a minute. It's fine.
Mhm.
They all cheers to living in the moment. I'm surprised they didn't cheers to blocking out the haters. Um, but day 2 of the retreat starts. We start the day with Mac and Clint. They say Mac, Clint, Shaq, and Gina all stayed overnight. Everybody else, they just left and went home. I was like,
And
okay.
they made such a big deal about that at the beginning of the episode. All the girls are going to be upstairs. All the guys are downstairs. Nicole and Chris are going to be together.
Like, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna go home and sleep in my own bed. No, I don't need
Right.
this. Mac and Clint go out and they make this plan for what they're calling the Beer Olympics or Beer Olympics, whatever. This little dumb game that Clint's coming up with. Let's see. Yeah, Kirsten and Jasmine just kind of show up. They're there now.
Mm.
They literally we spent a good minute talking about how we're gonna pick teams, and then they show us picking names out of the hat to pick teams. This is how little stuff they have. They're literally showing us people drawing names out of a hat.
And Jasmine volunteered because she wanted to be the ref because she's like, well, look, we're already uneven.
Because
And
Eris isn't there when Jasmine is there. Let's point
right.
that out.
But also, did you notice that who else was not there? 1, 2, 3,
Chris and Nicole
4.
weren't there.
Chris and Nicole, yeah. And so I was like, okay, they're also not participating, but it's because the nature of the games were like chugging beer the whole time. Jazz was like, I'm good on that.
Yeah.
I would have said, do y'all have cider?
Did you go to the local cidery, perhaps? So yeah, they pick teams. It's Mac, Dom, and Gina on one team, and Shaq, Clinton, Kirsten on the other team. I did like Dom says she doesn't like your team. Like, yeah, you can't divorce this one, so you're gonna stick it out. You can't cop out of this one early. It's like, oh, right. I will say one thing. I feel like the group dynamic is fun. I feel like they're all friends for the most part. I just don't feel like we needed to see this. It felt like a group hang that was just a camera in the group hang. It was not. The other Where Are They Now specials were like overly produced. We had moments, we had segments. This was just a hang at this retreat the whole time.
Which and it's like that they were probably thinking, this is what y'all asked for. You didn't want a heavily produced one.
Give me something in between.
Yeah,
there's something in between. Because this was just terrible.
Yeah, don't feed us storylines, but also there has to be something to watch.
And this is also part of the problem with doing these post decision day episodes, because in the past we would have a lot more to talk about because we didn't get all those dates in the post decision day episodes. We could have that here. This was all retreat. This was all the whole, like, everyone showing up there. We used to have some lead up until then, but this is, man, this I mean, how many times do I say this bad? Right before the game starts, Mac comes in and tries to bribe Jasmine with like a $20 bill and a Starbucks gift card. He says, I'm just gonna leave this here for you. I thought that was pretty fun. In a confessional, Gina just has to throw Clint some shade. She says, yeah, I'm not surprised that something involving heavy drinking and adventure and athleticism would be something suggested by Clint. I didn't note how they were teasing Shaq about how masculine he looks unfolding all these tables, since that was a criticism many people logged at Shaq. He was not masculine. It's just more of these little moments that just are all funny.
Moments I don't have in my notes.
Yeah, because you didn't take any notes. Angel's like, we can do this in 5 minutes.
Listen. I told Jason beforehand. I said, we're just hitting the things people need to know, right?
I just thought we hit the fun things. I just thought we hit the little fun things, little fun moments.
This was all the stuff he thought was fun.
Get ready for a 5-minute back half.
I know, right? Yeah, y'all better enjoy all this little detail right now.
The games begin. The games happen. Literally nothing really interesting happens in this at all.
Why did they make such a big deal of like when Clint and Mac went and they took their shirts off?
Why are they slow-moing this? I was like, this is not a good look for Mac and Clint. Don't do this to them. Just like the jiggle, just like, oh my gosh, like that's not a good look at all. Gina wearing the damn Gina shirt, which if you didn't catch the preview, they failed to blur it in one shot of the preview they released
Mm.
in the week, but they got it by the time the show aired, wearing the damn Gina shirt. I said, Gina, have you watched one episode of Martin? Even one?
She probably thinks Clint made it up.
Probably. Clint probably made a shirt and gave it to her.
Right.
Yeah.
And can we say? Because did we talk about? I can't. I'm blurring pre-show and now. Why was there not a single dog there?
Oh yeah, I mean, well, you talked a little bit about the pre-show. I think they probably just booked somewhere that was not dog friendly, which for a season that was so dog heavy, probably not a great idea. Especially we could have got a Clint and Hank reunion, like that would have been some good content.
Yes,
I would have come here for that.
I would have loved to see Clint choosing to hang out with Hank over the rest of the group the whole week.
Gina losing Hank to Clint again, where he leaves her room, goes to his. That would have been fun, but no, not at all. But yeah, that was the beer Olympics, which was not fun. Not interesting.
But it was Mac, Dom, and Mac, Gina, and Dom won.
Yeah, interesting. 3 people there to be on the team, but
yeah,
you know.
Throuple.
Yeah. So we got another 10 minutes. The age is gonna go use it to take over the back half.
Exactly. So we did get Gina and Mac. They decided to have a sit down, which at this point we've already heard she's in an exclusive relationship with a man she's known for 10 years, and we know that Mac has been dating.
Yeah, we the suspense is gone. Why are we doing this?
It's like, ooh. So they say the second date didn't happen. They only had that one date that we saw in those episodes between Decision Day and the reunion. So the second date didn't happen.
Didn't Kevin make y'all promise you were going to dinner that night? What happened to that?
They should have pinky swore. They didn't, which is why it was like, oh, there's no contract.
They should have sent a camera crew with them to go record their dinner.
Yeah, exactly. Then maybe it would have happened. But Gina felt that Mac just wasn't interested. She felt like he wasn't interested after the reunion. He's like, you're right. He's like, it was like my marriage. I just didn't pursue you. And she's like, yeah. She's like, maybe I didn't either. And she's like, wait, I told you to fly down several times.
Like, actually, I begged you to come down to where I was, and you just didn't. I mean, we kind of called this the whole way, like, Mac is not really into this at all.
Yeah,
we called it the whole time. They were at the reunion. He was like, yeah, we'll go on a date. Yeah, he's like, Gina really likes a phone call. She loves to keep me up on the phone.
Right. Then he said, like, yeah, like I would get butterflies when you called. And she was like, aw. He's like, but no, like in a panic.
No. And it was like, he says, oh yeah, when you would call me. She's like, you get butterflies? He's like, yeah, I get butterflies. But also I think, oh no. That's not what you want to hear. That's not what you want to hear. That he's panicking. Oh,
exactly. Man. He just said it basically boiled down to they both got out of a marriage. He wasn't sure how serious they both were ready to be. And so they were like, he was like, yep. So he says he thinks it'll come when you don't search for it.
Yeah, but he was also like, and then, now I feel like I missed out on an opportunity because now you're all booed up. Oh, darn.
Oh,
dang it. That timing, I tell you, too bad you're in a relationship.
Chance.
She's like, oh well, I mean, if you wanted to pursue something, I would. No, you got it. You're in a relationship now. You're good.
Yeah.
I'm sad I missed my opportunity.
Yeah, she's like, no, if I could drop him if you want.
No. Don't do anything on my account. Don't do anything on my account. Yeah.
Hey, I'm not here to ruin anybody's happiness.
Yeah, it's not me. It's not like it.
We did get a random scene of this is like Clint's in the kitchen cooking, Max helping. We find out that Nicole is interviewing for a job, which had people questioning like on social media, like does Nicole have a job right now? Because I know she wasn't working from home during the season.
I don't know. I feel like she was doing digital marketing, which is like half these people's profession, which we don't really know what that means.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was talking to the CEO of the company she was interviewing for. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Then they switch gears to Mac, ask him what he's looking for. Because he's like, yeah, me and Gina had a talk and we're just friends. And they are like, well, what are you looking for? He's like, well, big boobs. A home It's like, did he actually just say
I
that?
was like, okay, what?
Right. A homebody, and somebody who wants to settle down.
But right before this, though, we for some reason got a shot of Shaq just sleeping in his bed
Sleeping. Why was that?
at
Why
at
was that?
6.
It was when Chris and Nicole came back. I thought like, okay, you're showing Chris and Nicole coming in. They show Shaq. I was like, oh, is there going to be a
Thought,
situation where they wake Shaq up or something?
yeah, I thought they're going to be in the same room. They're walking in that room, and Shaq's going to be no. They just randomly showed Shaq in his bed sleeping. I think they did a timestamp. It was like 6:30 p.m. It was like, look at this lazy bones. He's just sleeping. Like no one. Like I don't understand why they showed that. They just showed it
It
with
made no
no
sense.
context at all.
Yeah. Yeah. No sense
I
at
thought
all.
it was interesting and funny that they just randomly showed that clip in there.
Yeah, I think it was maybe to reference, like, because they did say, like, oh, where's Shaq? Oh, he's upstairs sleeping.
But that was later. Like that
Yeah,
was
it was
like
later.
2 scenes after they showed
But
Shaq
we
sleeping.
we were reminded because we saw him sleeping. Otherwise, we would have been like, what? He's sleeping.
What is this? What is this episode? I just
And so let's see. They start the ladies were outside, or they were somewhere else. They weren't in the kitchen, but they were talking about Clint's cooking and how he he wants help, but then he doesn't want help. And they're like, he needs to just have us in the kitchen, show us what he wants us to do.
we did talk a little pre-show about watching the show The Bear, and just Clint in the kitchen reminded me of that show. I thought he was gonna start yelling at people like, cousin do this, cousin do that, corner behind. Like
Yes.
Clint's really taking over as the executive chef or whatever you want to call it.
And as he should, because we get this dinner, which I thought was going to be the end of the episode, but we still had more after. So it was this.
What's your disappointment?
Yeah, I was like, dang it. It was a 5-course meal that Clint had prepared, and he created each course to represent one of the couples. And it was impressive. I was honestly impressed.
This was for real. This is
Yes.
like some fine dining stuff. Nothing, not a single thing that I would eat, mind you, but that other people that have more dignified palates would eat.
Maybe so. Okay, maybe you would have eaten the beef short rib.
Doubt it. Doubt it. I don't eat anything with
what
gravy.
Does it have fries with it?
Like, can you give me one? Can you give me one without gravy on it?
Oh my god! What about the chocolate souffle?
Can you do it without raspberry? Can you just give me the chocolate?
Oh my gosh! Yeah, that's hilarious. Because I was thinking, I was like, Jason would not eat a single thing.
Not a single thing. Can we order something?
I have a pizza coming. It's okay, Clint.
Yeah, is there a McDonald's I can DoorDash around here?
Right. So the first course was a beet salad. I didn't get all the details for every meal. So if you listen to like the Top Chef or RHAP Up, this is not like that.
Yeah. No, not at all.
No. So he did a beet salad, and that represented Clint and Gina. And then with each meal, they each went around and said what they liked about the couple or what their thoughts about that couple. And so for Clint and Gina, they all basically came to the conclusion that they're happy, that Gina and Clint are happy individually.
Do you think they came up with who was going to say what before the dinner? Is this like a Big Brother finale where they pull out the note card from under their seat and says, Clint and Gina, this is how I feel about your relationship.
It had to last the whole meal, like while they're eating the beet salad. So I would imagine everyone probably said something about everyone.
Gosh, that'd be terrible.
Yeah. The second dish was scallops, and that represented Kirsten and Shaq. And Clint said that represented them because they're both salts of the earth. And
Clint really had to work to make this all fit.
Yeah. He's like, this is my menu.
Yeah.
This is what I can cook.
I gotta figure out how I can liken this to the couple.
Right. And so Aaron says like Kirsten and Shaq they look so good together. And then he starts talking about Shaq, and he starts tearing up, and he's like, Shaq is the only person that's seen the full him.
Weird. And to tell you
I didn't know they had such a bromance.
Me neither. And to tell you how lacking of content this was. They did a cliffhanger on
Mhm.
Eris being like, and Shaq. Cliffhang. We come back. Shaq's cool.
Right. He said, "My bad. I have something in my eye."
Yeah,
No.
for real.
Yeah.
These freaking allergies, man.
So the third meal was a beef short rib. I actually just had a really good beef short rib on Sunday. It was really good. So anywho, I feel like you would like it. It's basically like, think of like you eat steak,
Yeah.
but it's like, it falls off the bone.
Like I said, take the gravy off and maybe I'll try it.
So he
Maybe.
says this represents Dom and Mac. Because of the shortness, right? Of their marriage.
Put on them.
Okay. And so Nicole, when he brings out the beef short rib, Nicole goes, "Is it too late for me to marry Clint?"
I mean, Chris was like the sous chef.
He helped
He was helping
with direction.
Mhm.
Yeah, because what was it? Clint needed them to help with the chocolate souffle, and Chris was like, "Do you have instructions? Do you have the recipe?
Is it on the box?
Yeah." And Clint's like, "Oh yeah. He's like, "Okay, then I can do it." I remember more about this than I care to admit. A lot of this isn't even in my notes.
Oh boy.
Like, why do I remember this
You
episode?
can never get it out of your head now.
Right. I mean, it was only yesterday. So then Jasmine arrives. Who knew she wasn't even there yet?
Like, was she waiting in the back for her chorus to be like, I'm not going out there until I actually need to. I do not want to be sitting by Eris. I honestly think there was something going on there. Like, did they have some sort of blow up before this? Did something happen? Because they, number one, were at the place in 2 different times, except for a couple of moments.
Mm-hmm.
And then they talked like once later when she like hugs him for his birthday, and that was like it. So I was like, oh, something going on between them two. I don't know.
I don't know. So for Jasmine and Eris, Clint cooked a curried yellowfin tuna over red pepper coulis, and then there were some more words.
Nope. Y'all want mine? I'll be like, you want mine?
And so Clint says, Clint says this is for them because Jasmine definitely got a booty. Because the yellow.
What?
It's like, wait,
wow.
what?
So sexual.
Right. That was a strong statement.
That's a little much.
Yeah. And then Shaq spoke up about them, says Eris is like his big brother. And I was like, I completely forgot Eris is older than Shaq.
Right. You would think it was the other way around.
Right.
Shaq acts like he's like 50-something years old.
Mm-hmm, honestly.
And Eris act like a little kid.
Yes. 50-something going on 60.
Mm-hmm.
And so last but not least, they had a chocolate souffle. This represented Nicole and Chris. Because what was it? The souffle rises.
Yes,
like when you cook it.
Like Nicole and Chris, they rose together and they're so sweet together.
Dom said that they're contagious.
In a good way.
In a good way. So that was their big fancy dinner.
I did notice that as they're leaving the dinner, that Shaq is like looking at Jasmine's butt. He's like, oh.
He did.
They kind of joke about it a little bit. I was like, oh, okay, all right, Shaq.
Yeah.
Jasmine, do your thing.
Yeah. So all the guys are, or I guess some of the guys are hanging out. The main focus here is Shaq.
Yeah, this is the next day.
Yes.
After that dinner.
And so Shaq is talking about him and Kirsten. He said it took the reunion for them to like really finally be friends. He's like, they're both in a happy place. He was like, people always say like, oh, we wish y'all could have made it work. And he's like, who knows? One day it may work.
Stop saying that. Stop.
Right?
You don't want it to work, Shaq. Just say that.
Right. No one's stopping you but you.
Definitively, once and for all, say, nope, we are only friends. That's all it's ever going to be. Stop giving anyone that still wants y'all to work out any hope. I don't understand what his reasoning is here at all for saying this nonsense.
Chris says he feels like they were matched correctly. And Clint was like, "Look, do you see y'all getting back together?" And Clint was like, Shaq was like, that'll be for us to determine.
There's another useless cliffhanger after Clint says, "Do you see an opportunity?" That'll be for us to decide. Like, yeah, nothing
Oh
interesting,
my
nothing
gosh.
fun.
Yeah. So then we're somewhere else in the house with the ladies, and Dom said that her friend Stacy set her up with her current guy, because the ladies asked about, like, hey, tell us about the guy you're dating. She said that her friend Stacy was like always seeing guys that were like single, and like, "Ooh, are you single? Are you single? My friend, I think he'd be great for my friend." And then finally Dom was like, "Oh, he's cute." And so she said they're exclusive. It's unlike any relationship she's ever had. We learned he's 25, so he's a year younger than her. Then we jump over to Jasmine, and this is where I actually have thoughts. So Jasmine said that her man does not watch the show and never has, and they just try not to talk about the show. I'm sorry. If I'm with anybody who has ever been on television, I'm
Yep.
watching. What do you mean? And that's not even as a lover of TV. That I feel like that is as a curious partner. Like,
I will say something.
okay.
I do many a podcast. I don't think my wife has ever listened to one podcast I've been on.
I feel like that's different, though. I know we just equated ourselves to Lifetime, but
it's not as big a platform, obviously.
yes.
But especially if I'm dating someone and they've been on a relationship show.
Yes.
Definitely doing some research.
Exactly. Like, because that'd be different. It's not like you're on podcast acting like you're in a marriage, like you're just
acting like I'm in a marriage.
Like I'm trying to equate it to what this is. So it's like you are just giving your thoughts. You talk to your wife about shows all the time. She's like, I would hear the same stuff, know? So this is literally her life, a point in time when she got married to a stranger. You don't want to watch or talk to her? Like, not that he doesn't want to, but they've agreed. Like, they're just not going to.
I think it might have been like, she said, you don't need to watch this. Actually, I'm going to forbid you from watching this. Right. And I'd imagine, like, when he's not with her, he's, watching it on his phone or something, like, okay. Oh,
right. Because if any, like, obviously it didn't work, right? Mm-hmm. But if anything, I think it would be beneficial for him to watch, to be able to say, like, okay, this is what my girlfriend has been through recently. So I know.
My level of curiosity would not let me not watch that show.
Exactly.
I would have to. It would be a necessary thing for me in my life to watch this, to just, not even just for our relationship, I'm just curious how you were on this television show.
Right. Exactly. I'm just like, what? So, yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not at all. I would have to. It wouldn't be any other option.
Honestly, I'm sitting here trying to imagine it, that I would just be like, no, we're just not going to talk about it, and I'm good. It's mind blowing.
I'm not curious at all, especially in the middle of the show airing.
Yes.
When so much is happening. She's like, yeah, he has to get me through the tough moments. Like, how would he know what tough moments you're talking about if he hasn't even watched the show?
Exactly. And it's not like she's coming out of this completely unaffected. Like, that was an experience that's going to have an impact on her in some way or another.
And I can definitely understand if she does not want to sit down every Wednesday with him and watch the show, because that would be awkward, I think. I think it would be awkward to sit down with my partner and watch a show about me and another partner. Yes, that'd be awkward. But if I'm him, I'm like, yeah, I don't gotta watch it with you, but I'm gonna watch it.
Right.
I have to see.
Yeah, and maybe he has, and they just don't talk about it. Maybe he is watching.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was so interesting. So we got the big Kirsten and Shaq hangout. It's great. We got them together.
The thing we've all been waiting for.
Yes. So, she feels like they went back and forth being on different pages so much that she just wants them to stay, like, on the same page. And he says like he could not imagine being by her side. And like he's like, when she needs a hug, he'll give her a hug, and she starts tearing up. She said that means so much to her.
Kirsten, what are you doing?
She's like, I'm sorry, that just means a lot to me that when I need a hug, you're gonna know I need a hug.
And Shaq says, "Oh, girl, you're gonna mess your makeup up." He starts waving his hand at her.
He blows in her face. No. I was like, have y'all done this before? But I'm sorry.
Don't. Your mascara's gonna run, girl. Don't let your mascara run. Oh my gosh. I'm
like, I would prefer my mascara to run than you blowing in my eyes.
I would definitely be looking side-eyed at Shaq. Was like,
oh my gosh. That was an experience. Because I couldn't understand why she was crying in the first place.
Not even I couldn't understand what the hug what they were talking about was. Like they had a hug at the reunion and that made them feel better. I was like, what? And he's like, and I'm gonna give you a hug even if you don't ask for it. And then like attacks her and hugs her. I'm like,
right. Oh yeah. So he's saying like she feels like he understands her now, and he's happy that she's gotten to this place of growth. And Kirsten was like, yeah, like they all want us together, like all the other people. Like all the other couples.
She literally said everyone around the world wants us together.
Yeah. The whole universe. The Milky Way galaxy, they said Shaq and Kirsten need to be together. And Shaq was like, you know what though? You know what? It's even more impactful that they have faith in us as individuals.
My eyes could not roll any further up into my head.
He said, "You're talking about us together." Skirt. I'm saying
let's they like U-turn on that. but what they really like
is us as individuals, not even together. We don't even
ever see each other again. That's what they really like.
We don't even have to be together for them, for the whole world to have faith in us.
They want to see how this journey we've been on affects us separately. Like not together, but separately. Not in each other's vicinity, but far away from each other. That's what'll really get them going.
I'm like, I know we've heard a lot of things from this man. We've heard a no on decision day. We've heard him talk his way out of having to make any type of decision at the reunion and every conversation they've had. But if that was not a wake-up call for Kirsten, that he is not trying to pursue this, I don't know what will be.
This conversation they had encapsulates every single thing we've talked about this season. They talked about literally nothing.
Yeah.
They talked in just generalities and vagueness about growing, being vulnerable, but said nothing really specific. Just a bunch of gobbledygook and gibberish. That's what this whole conversation was. Had no real point. It's them in a nutshell. This whole season.
Yeah.
It's a fitting end to the season for them. They talk about the same stuff they've been talking about the whole season.
Absolutely. And she said, you know what? If you ever come to Nashville, you can call me.
Or because before this, you could never call her. I thought we left the reunion like at least being on some civil terms, or like we could be friends. But I had people. I had a bounty on you in case you ever throw back in Nashville. But you know what? I'm gonna let you come back to Nashville.
I'm gonna call them off.
Yeah, I had people out there willing to beat you up if they saw you out in Nashville. But you know what? I'll let you live.
I will tell them never mind.
Yeah, I'm gonna call off the dogs.
So then they sing a song together. Was that the song they made up together?
Yeah, that was the terrible song that they recorded together earlier in the season.
Thought so. Then we have one little I thought it was the last sit down, but then they had a party.
How many group sit downs are we gonna have that are gonna end the season?
I literally said last sit down, and then they ended with the party.
Oh man.
I was just confused. But they all sit down and they're talking about, stuff they learned or whatever. main thing to take away from this was Mac says like it is hard to see like everyone else hanging out and stuff because he does feel like by them ending their marriage early, he missed out on creating those bonds with everybody else. And so he does wish he was closer to everybody else. Dom says it is what it is. I think it's it's hurtful.
Dom says suck to be you because I ended it early.
She said it's hurtful that the girls hang out with it without me and they don't invite me. So I'm just ready to move on with my life. And the girls are like, what? Jess was like, what?
Nicole says, there was a lot of taking from other things to make this a bigger deal than it was, because there's a lot of talking from the other girls, like when they're not on camera. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh my gosh, what did she say? Which was obviously from another part. This was not the big deal they tried to make it out to be in the moment. Yeah.
This Nicole was like, well, Dom, you call me all the time, so now I'm gonna start calling you.
Dom was like, I am not. She literally said, I ain't tripping. Dom was like, I do not need to see any of you ever again. You've crossed me and you will never be friends with me ever again.
You will rue the day that you created a group chat without me in it. Because that's all that happened.
You will never see or hear from me again.
Yeah. So then they finally have the birthday party that they are there for. And so
this is the weakest birthday party I've ever seen.
Yeah. I think Dom said she's learned that like she's 26 now, so why the rush to get married? Kirsten does wish her and Shaq had started out on the right foot together. And Shaq says there's still some emotion and attachment there. And there's still a spark. So you never know what life will bring. Sir, you are in the driver's seat. It's like he's sitting in a car. He's just like, I may or may not get to my destination. We'll see. I don't know. I got the keys right here. We'll see. I don't know.
Savor that metaphor, y'all, because that might be the last one you get for a while from Aysha Welch. They set up this whole casino thing, and they were outside for what seemed to be 2 minutes, and then went inside. All right, we're done with this. We didn't play any of these games. We didn't do any of this. Let's just go inside.
I will say Jasmine looked great throughout the whole episode. Like she came through with some great outfits. Even what she wore when she drove, like when they got to the retreat was nice. It was like the same color top and bottom, but casual look, but still cute casual. I felt like she looked great the whole episode.
She definitely came correct. Mm-hmm. The whole episode. Let me tell you, I noticed. I won't say I noticed. So something that Clint said earlier may definitely be true. Let's just say that much.
Clint says a lot of things, so we'll never know what you're talking about.
Never.
So that was a wrap, finally, on this group of 10 people that we have stuck with for 26 episodes.
Well, I mean, they also had to show us Kirsten and Shaq, their final goodbye, where like he helps into the car and just like they just make some stupid small talk.
Pointless.
The worst ending to a season, I think, ever. It wasn't even like, because in seasons previous, we would have these fun goodbyes where it'd be like people are leaving one at a time, and then we get the last people that leave the like a series finale where whoever leaves, they all leave the workplace together. We didn't even get that. We got this left off on Kirsten randomly just leaving the retreat, and that's it.
Yeah.
No wise words. This was the most random, unorganized show I've ever seen. There was no kind of structure. There was no.
It was like we were watching live feeds.
Yes,
but like at
exactly
a time when like on a Wednesday when nothing's happened. No, like a Tuesday, like the veto ceremony has happened. Nothing is happening. Just nothing to talk about. Yeah.
And it was 2 hours of that.
So yeah,
well, we made it, y'all. I did.
We did get a preview for next week. They're doing like the best of MAFS. They're going to highlight a lot of moments. We actually already did this over on the RHAP Podcast Instagram. We did our top 10 moments. For sure, so yes. Yeah, that was fun. Hopefully you caught that. Yeah.
It's going to be 10 times better than whatever is going on next week, guaranteed, based on what I saw on the previews. I'll just say that. Now, I feel like I don't need to even really ask this, but I feel like it's the end of the season, and I feel like I need to. Where does the season rank for you?
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna find where we did the
Our
rankings.
official rankings?
Our official rankings. Dang it. I don't have it in order. I just had our averages. But I would probably say this falls like if I had to like of 16 seasons, let's say we have a top 8 and a bottom 8. Definitely
Okay, well,
bottom 8.
we could do quarters, right?
No, I'm kidding. Yeah. We can. That makes me think a little bit harder. Because the way that we said the worst seasons were
Season 2, I
4.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, season 4, season 2, and season 5 were like the bottom 3. So it's like, would I put this season down there with them? I think I would. So I think I do. I do. If I had to rate this season, I would give them like a little push for at least being like all around kind of likable. Like it's not like, oh, they just. I don't hate anyone.
There wasn't anyone that was toxic that made you go,
yes.
ugh.
Right. There's no one just like super cringe.
Abusive. Yeah.
Yeah. Like there are people out there that we like wouldn't want to see on our screens again. But overall, these 10 were just very like palatable, easy to watch.
Chill. Very
chill. Very chill. There's no conflict. So I feel like I would put them in the like if there are 4 sections, probably in the third one.
In the third.
So like somewhere between ranking like
in the top half or the bottom half?
No, bottom half. You said in quarters.
Yes.
So
yes,
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you're going 1, 2, 3, 4 or 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. No.
Like, is this the third best or the third worst?
Still bottom half,
okay,
but like episode. What I guess we'd be like 9 to 13 or however the math works.
So if I had to put a number on it, if we did 1 through 16, and in that second worst quarter, I put it in the bottom of the second worst quarter. So I would say 5 through 9 or whatever. I would put it in there. I put it probably at 5. I think this is a pretty bad season. I think that, and I think the length really contributed to that.
Yes.
Which was a big, problem with it. The cast did not bring what I thought a reality show cast should bring. It wasn't messy. It wasn't that.
And that's
really
what you watch
entertaining. That's what I watch for. I watch for mess. Now, we did have a successful couple, which when we did this exercise, you said factored into your, ranking of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think it wasn't given what I wanted to give. So I would put it around 5 to 7, I would say.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I'm putting in the bottom because like even season 13 which has no successful couples, we still ranked as like number in the top half. It was very entertaining.
And I remember us saying at the time, like, oh, it seems like a lot of recency bias because we were putting a lot of the like more recent seasons in the top. I mean, this should go to show you that we're not doing that because this was not a good season.
Yeah, no, this is definitely down there for me. And I do want everyone out there to know it is July 6th today, the day we are recording this. We started recording this podcast on January 5th of 2023.
Man, it's been a long road. It's been 6 months.
Pour one out for our Thursday nights.
On one season.
For the past 6 months.
6 months. Man, that's
I'm not gonna know what to do with myself next week.
Just the fact that it's been 6 months. I'm sure I can listen to an early season podcast and be like, I don't remember any of this. Like, I don't.
It would be brand new.
Yeah, it really would. But listen, I came with like a little list, right? Like some words that we can now retire from the lexicon.
I
have big head.
Okay.
We cannot say big head anymore. The show has killed it. In the streets. AKA or screets, as Clip would say. We got to kill that. We can't say that anymore. Damn, Gina, it's done. We can't say it anymore. Even if you reference Martin, we can't do it. Shaq has killed You Never Know. Killed it.
Right.
Can't do it. Shaq is also killed on the same page. Can't do it. Shaq's killed a lot of these. Shaq has killed grow together, grow apart.
Right.
Those words can never be said again. Gina has killed the word ginger. She's killed the words hair, salon, anything related to doing hair. We can't say anymore because Gina has run it into the ground. Can't do it anymore. Memphis also out of here.
Nope.
Can't talk about it
Sorry.
anymore.
If you're from Memphis, just say like, oh, the capital.
Yeah, we can't do it anymore. So yeah, those are words that we can't ever say anymore on this earth because this show has killed it. Just killed it dead.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I can't even think of any that you're missing. Unless it has to be, there has to be something about from Eris, like the friend
Attraction.
zone. It's right. Yeah, no longer can use attraction.
Yeah.
But yes, that's a wrap on this season. I want to thank a few people. So let's thank Scott St. Pierre behind the scene, as well as Jillian and Derek. They always do a great job every week putting out our podcast, putting out the video, because this was our first season. Was this our first season?
Yes,
I don't even know.
We started doing videos 6 months ago.
I'm like, there's no way this is our first season. This is our first season on video. And so I'm so glad that so many people have sent us messages letting us know how you like us being on video. Get to see those facial reactions. So definitely thanks to the RHAP production team for the great work with putting out the podcast. Thanks to Rob Zesternino, of course, for giving us this platform to be able to talk about Married at First Sight.
Thanks to him for forgetting we're even on his network and we just keep doing our thing under the radar.
It's because he doesn't have to worry about us. That's what it is.
That's what you tell yourself at night. Okay.
Yeah.
Now that he just totally forgot that he has a show running, that we just keep doing it. He has no knowledge of it.
Right.
No one tell him.
Thanks to our amazing guests for the season. We had a lot of great guests this season. It was a tough one to get people that were still watching. So that was a challenge. But of course, yeah, we had Mari, we had Sarah Carradine, we had Jennifer W. So thank y'all so much for joining us this season. And then I also like to thank Will from America for our amazing theme song.
Yes.
That gets us started every week. Gets those
juices
juices flowing
in my ear every week. Yeah.
Right.
Our hype up music before we start the podcast.
Right. But yeah, I think that, and then, yeah, just as RHAP as a whole, for the support, anybody that has liked our stuff. Thank you so much for our Facebook group. Y'all have been amazing this whole season, just with interacting every week.
Mm-hmm. They've really helped us kept us going during this hard season, because it's so fun interacting with people in that group. I mean, just the listeners, the viewers in general, just y'all kept us in it. Y'all kept us
for
here.
real.
Y'all kept us excited. Y'all kept us engaged, even though by this time we're just like, let's just get this over with and do this.
Yes.
Thank you so much for y'all for supporting us, for telling us how much you like us in the reviews. I think we've gotten probably a record number of reviews this season. We've really kind of skyrocketed reviews. We love that. Of course, thank you to Aysha for being here, being with me. Thank you, everyone. We made it. We crossed the finish line finally.
Yes.
We dragged that dead horse that we've been beating all season across the finish line.
Yes. Thank you, Jason, for all your impressions, all your comedy. Thank you for your commitment to the pod, because I know it's a lot.
A lesser man would have quit by now.
Right.
But I'm still here.
Wow, you're so you're so masculine for sticking with the pod.
Let me carry this table to show you how masculine I am right now.
And also thank you, Tricky Rice, for all of the graphics every season, and every episode, and even if you're watching the podcast, he created the background that we have here. So
yep.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. Thank you for Sam Moore for randomly looking out whenever I need to reach out to him. But I think that should cover it. Thank you to everybody who has rated and reviewed the podcast this season. Thank you to all of the listeners. We just greatly appreciate it. Just super, super grateful and thankful, and don't take it for granted, because we could easily be talking to just empty air and no one would tune in. But
Totally.
I definitely appreciate that people are actually listening and watching and enjoying the content. So
Yeah, I
we
mean,
will be.
send us out with a bang. Give us some reviews. Give us those thumbs up down there on the YouTube page. Send us out with some good stuff.
Yes.
For the season. Like, reward us for our hard work
Right.
covering this whole season.
Thank you to Pepper and Cinnamon for being my live audience every week.
Live when they're usually sleeping
Right.
at your feet.
Cinnamon's relocating right now, and she looked like, "What? You said my name?" And Pepper is like on her back like this. So yeah,
Dead to the
knocked
world.
out. But yes, Jason, what are you up to, and where can people listen to you now that we're going to be done with Married at First Sight for this season?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at JAYR1085. Coming soon to other social media platforms. I don't know. Who knows? You can find me right now. I'm doing a couple shows on post show recaps. I'm covering the show Hijack with Marissa Garza. Also covering the show Secret Invasion with Sasha Joseph. More recently, this week, I was on the 90 Day Fiance Wrap Up with Puya. Had a lot of fun. I was a little unhinged, unbalanced on that podcast. So go check that out if you like 90 Day. It was a lot of fun for me, of course. But yeah, that's where you can find me right now. Aysha, what about you?
Yeah, y'all can find me at Asia Like Asia on Threads. And all social media, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I right now, usually my bread and butter at this time of year is Big Brother, and it's not coming on until August 2nd. So I might get a little bit of a break because I don't have anything coming up. And the most recent thing I did was the Brant Steele. So if you're still curious about that, we did a podcasters versus Survivor players. That was fun. Just a made up Survivor game. That was a great time. But yeah, if you want to know when anything is happening, follow me on any of the socials, and make sure you subscribe to our podcast so that you can be aware when season 17 comes back, since a lot of you has even said you may not watch season 17. But if you want to listen to the podcast, just keep an eye on the feed, and that premiere pod will pop up before you know it. So whenever we find out when the season is actually going to start. But yes, again, I know I've said it enough, but thank y'all so much for listening this season, and we will catch y'all next season. Bye.